Special shout out to all my patrons. Not me, what? What, are you not afraid to debate? Then hop in the box. Let's see your bio. Trump. Great. Pro-life. All right, debate me on either of those things.
Yeah, cool. I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Sure. On which one? Which one do you want to go with?
I mean, you go there. It's your live. Um,
Sure. So, like, specifically, like with if we want to start with Trump, I believe he was just kind of a do nothing president. He didn't pass any significant policies or make any significant changes to America. He was pretty obstinate in working with in like creating bipartisanships to so he was just at a standstill half the time because he like refused to come to the table. So I just don't think he did anything positive for America. He did some positive things for like the 1% or like the people in higher tax brackets, but middle America and lower income America didn't see any like significant changes under his presidency.
so your argument, like under the current administration, you're doing better now than you were before. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if I look at the policies passed by the current administration, I'd say they absolutely have done a bit more than past ones. Like even if we just look at uh, like the infrastructure bill, that thing is going to create thousands of jobs in specifically like solar, wind, and other like electric. I would also say it's been like Biden has been
Okay.
pretty. Hold on, I just want to finish that real quick. That Biden's been
Yeah, for
pretty
sure.
substantial about working with Republicans and refuses to do anything without their say so. So he's been a lot better at building like not like the minority of outspoken Republicans like the Marjorie Taylor Greens,
Uh-huh.
but the bulk of the
Right.
people in Congress and Senate like have been way more willing to come to the table and work together on bills under Biden's administration than under Trump's administration.
Okay. So I'm actually going to preface this. These are my beliefs, and my truths are my own truths. I'm not trying to like, and I promise you, I will not attack anybody or hurt them. Like, I will not attack anyone. But if you let me speak freely, I'd love to have this conversation. This is great.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so we can start. I can go issue by issue if you want. So we can start with like global warming. What do you think about that? You think it's man-made global warming? You believe in that?
I believe that the climate change is going to happen whether we were here or not, but I do believe
Right.
based on scientific evidence that we are extremely exacerbating it. And I think that it's something
Okay.
we should be afraid of because we've built our entire society on the fact that certain areas are have certain climates throughout the bulk of the year, and if that suddenly changes, it's going to put us at risk of like farming, flooding, things like that.
Okay. So are you vegan?
Am I vegan? No.
Okay. So you understand like what windmills do to birds and bats, right?
What windmills do to birds and bats? No, go and tell me.
Well, just I'm just throwing knowledge down.
Yeah, no, I just go what are I just looked it up and it looks like up to 1 million or more birds a year are killed by turbines in the U.S. But that's far exceeded by collisions with communication
Okay.
towers, power lines, windows, and cats.
Okay. I'm just pointing out like stuff that like really drives me crazy. Okay, so now look up avocados. Um, Look how many bees that kills. And
Well,
these people are
avocados?
judging. Yeah, look how many bees
I don't
avocados
even eat
kill.
avocados.
I know it doesn't matter, but what I'm trying to point out contradictions in logic. That's
Well,
I'm
sure,
not
but
trying to
let's
attack you.
talk about the windmill thing because I think that's actually a very valid critique. Going like, hey, windmills kill this many people, so so is your critique of that we shouldn't use them because they kill this many birds per year?
No, my critique is they think they're saving the planet and they don't know what they're freaking talking about.
Well, what do you mean
And
by that? What
okay.
specifics?
Well, I'll give you another one then. I'm just throwing nuggets out. Okay, so let's talk about
Well, no, why don't can we
so
let's
are you
just
are you
let's
for
stay on.
electric cars?
Wait, let's just
No,
stay
we
on
can.
windmills because
I'm throwing
I will
nuggets,
admit,
man. I'm
sure, but I'll admit, I'll be the first to admit, I don't know everything about windmills. So if you have information that
Yeah,
will
it kills bats and birds, and it's terrible for the environment.
sure,
But
but
at the same time,
by
they
that
want to
logic,
put.
should we
But their
remove
whole
cats?
basis is well, or cows, right? Because flatulence, whatever, kills the environment, right? Because of the, whatever. But I'm throwing out, like, I'm not even trying to dispute you in facts. I'm trying to actually, like, I'm challenging your logic. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong.
No, and
I'm
I,
just
I
trying to
love my
throw out
logic being,
facts.
I quite literally love my logic being challenged because it's how I can know whether my logic holds still. But like if I'm just to stay on the wind turbine thing for a second, if I look at these
Yeah.
numbers and see that they kill up to 1 million or more birds a year,
Okay.
but then I see that
Okay.
cats kill 1.3 billion to 1.3 to 4 billion birds a year. If I'm trying to stay logically consistent and go, well, windmills kill birds, so they're out, I would have to then
Well,
say cats kill birds, so they're out.
well, one's a natural eco system that's been around forever, and one is man-made that's actually purposely trying to do better, which are it's abused and
All
it's
right, well
it's
then
terrible.
what about power lines or like cell towers or windows? All three of those
Okay,
kill way more birds per year. So under the logic, are we getting rid of cell towers, power lines, and windows?
I mean it's a valid argument. I'm ignorant. I don't know, but I mean I have more questions. I'd love to talk about them, but
Sure, I just like to try to finish up on one thing before
no,
we
no,
like
no,
jump to
no,
the other, you
no.
know?
I don't know the answer on the windows. I think see, and here's the difference between me and you probably is I believe God put us here for a purpose, and I believe that everything on earth was created for us for food and stuff like that. And you're probably and look, and please don't take this the wrong way. This is totally honest. Genuous. I am not attacking you, but you're probably an atheist. You don't believe in God, and so you're like, okay, so I get it. I get your perspective a little bit, but I mean,
Yeah,
we
I
can talk about more.
even
So
if I was like spiritual, I don't think I would have the stance that everything on this planet was built for us because we're relatively new to the planet.
okay, so we can move on to the next one. The next one would be, so what? How do you feel about electric cars?
I think they're fine if we can focus more on like nuclear energy as opposed to like coal
Okay.
energy. Like I think they would have to go like hand in hand with a move to more nuclear power.
Okay, so I agree with you on nuclear, but people promoting electric cars that are actually fueled by coal, which are actually it's child labor lithium, and like they're trying to save the planet and people. Like you can't like that argument's dead too. Like it's like all the logic. I mean, and here's the thing. Here's what I think about, and excuse me, I'm being frank, but I think liberals really mean well. I just don't think they think it all the way through.
Well, wait, but I could say the exact same thing. Like if we take all of these things to their logical conclusions, it almost can be the exact same thing thrown on the Republican side, right? First of all, I
Right.
don't think
That's fair.
I don't
That's fair.
think I don't think the a singular citizen should be forced to change the way they live their life when the bulk of pollution comes from major corporations. Amazon produces more pollution than anybody on this earth like any one person combined. Amazon produces more pollution than like the entirety of New York State, right?
Right.
And then when we
Right.
add all
Right.
of the other corporations that are doing this as well, I think those are who need to be regulated, not the average citizen. So this idea of
Right.
like right now where it's like, well, we need to get rid of gas stoves. Why do I need to get rid of
Okay.
gas stoves when Apple, Amazon, Walmart, all of these major corporations are
Right.
producing way more fossil fuels and way more pollution into the air? But the issue is when you look at like the GOP specifically, most of these companies lobby with them for um, uh, easier ways to get rid of their pollution or less fines or things like that. You can see like I could pull up a list of GOP senators that have been lobbied by these major
Right.
companies to be allowed to produce these fossil fuels. So I do think it's an
Okay.
unfair thing on the average citizen when clearly we know who's causing the actual bulk of the issue.
Okay. Well, look, I respect your thoughts. I mean, I would be more inclined to listen to these people if they weren't freaking flying around in jets and freaking telling us how wrong we are. You know?
Sure. I believe that uh every what's the word I'm trying to find here? Every politician should live solely in the district that they govern. And I believe we should have like strict term limits to prevent, and we should like outlaw lobbying altogether to prevent things like this from happening. But I just think it's
Right.
unfair that
Okay.
it's very clear that they're trying to shift blame on the citizen when it's not the citizen's fault. So that's
Right.
part of my issue with
I
the
agree.
GOP in general.
No, no, no. I mean, I agree with some of your points. I mean, I'm trying to be as fair as possible. Um, I mean, we could talk about anything else if you want any other thoughts. I mean, I just jumped in and I mean, I'm proud and I'm willing to debate, but like I want to be fair and I don't want to be kicked. I don't want to lose an account, anything like that, you know.
No, I don't
So
kick people unless they're like bigots and like actively using like
no,
slurs and
no,
stuff.
no,
Um,
I don't do that. Yeah,
my
yeah.
only question would be like, like in the Trump thing, right? Like, can you
Okay.
point me to anything he specifically did that had like a very good net positive for the country that wasn't just started in the administration before him?
Yeah, I can go way into that. Number one, I mean, I definitely support his border policy. Number two, I support how the economy went underneath him, and I understand the differences. And you know what? There is power with carrying a big stick, and Biden's kneeling to people that are. He's a freaking weak president, and he's lost in the woods. I mean, if you really want to know what I think,
Yeah, the only thing I would ask you on that, right? Just to take on some of those points directly. You said that you support his policies at the border. Now, would it not
right,
then make
right.
sense for you to then equally support Biden's, because Biden has quite literally been harsher at the border than Trump has. It's one of the things I don't like
Uh,
about Joe Biden. He has been like crazy strict at the border. He's deported
Strict.
yeah, Biden's deported way more people than Trump did.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, bro.
Wait,
Oh my gosh.
this isn't up for debate. He has deported more
Oh
people.
yeah, you know
He
why? Because
kept
when when you open the doors, people are going to come in, bro, and then like yeah, for sure.
Sure, but
Okay.
he didn't open the doors. He kept most of Trump's border policies. Like he the only
Okay.
one he's tried to get rid of is the one that sends children back to the country without the parents. That's like really the only one. And now he's opened up a little bit more to asylum seekers than Trump did, but I also think Trump was too strict at the border. Not even talking about like people entering the country illegally. Trump was
Uh,
making it harder to legally enter the country. He removed like the family sponsorships. He made it harder for
uh-huh.
DACA citizens to gain their citizenship. Like he made it actively harder for people to immigrant naturally. So like of course we're going to
Okay.
see a rise in people coming over if it's harder for them to come over
Okay.
legally.
So, would you agree that people that break the law need should have consequences, or
Thank you, Mel.
for their actions?
I think it's a nuanced conversation, and I think it fully depends on the law that was broken, the reasonings why. Like for an example, just so you understand, like if I go to a store and steal a PlayStation, sure, but
Hmm.
if I find a mother
Why?
stealing baby
Why?
food, like I probably
What if
wouldn't.
they needed that? What if
Well,
they needed
well, a
it
PlayStation is a
for their
luxury.
mental health?
PlayStation is a luxury good, right? But if I
I mean,
catch somebody
but
stealing
well,
food, I'm probably not going to persecute them like they're stealing food.
yeah, yeah, but one person's treasure is another person's trash. I want to explain to you how that PlayStation isn't important to the person. Maybe all the people they connect to and their mental stability actually is related to the relationships they have on a PlayStation. Maybe they're just broke, right? So now all the people
It could be
they
that
can
that
reach.
doesn't make it not a luxury good, right?
I,
It's
I'm
still a
just
luxury
I,
good.
I
I think there's a
you
difference
understand where
between
I'm going.
stealing luxury.
I'm not trying to argue anything. I'm just saying I'm provoking thought, right? Like
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a difference
um
between a luxury good
okay.
and like
And
food, water,
so a
shelter.
cell phone, so a cell phone, is that a luxury or not?
I think it's a tough one because we live in a society where without one, I mean, you can still get by without one, so I guess a luxury, but we live in a society that's basically made it impossible to own a job, to hold down a job without proper communication. But like I like, we can look at
Well,
the
what
type
about
of
the
cell
people in
phone, like
Africa?
a
What about
flip
the people in
phone.
Africa?
What about the
Are
people
we
in
poor? Or
Africa?
they are we poor? Or they are poor? Like are do you really think American poor is Africa poor?
Well, no, we have two completely different economies.
Right, right. Okay, we're on the same page on that one. Okay. I mean, I love this, man. And you know what I like is it's respectful, right? Like we're not attacking each other. We're having like real debate.
Yeah, I just don't see the point of conflating. So like just back on to what we were talking about before, like
Sure,
I would
sure.
say if Biden is being equally as harsh at the border as Trump is, if he's deporting as many people, if he's still cracking down, because again, this is a common
You really
yes.
believe this,
Yes,
right?
this is a common
Okay.
criticism
Okay.
Of Biden supporters, quote unquote. I don't support him, but these are like common criticisms of the current presidency is that they promised us. Now they made a lot of promises saying they would not be as
Hmm.
harsh, but then continued to
Right.
be equally as harsh at the border. I think our border should be open. Like personally, I'm
Really?
for I'm for an
So
open border
you don't want you don't want
system.
America. You don't want nations at all, right?
Well, I do. I believe nations are unjust. Like, I don't think that we should have government. I don't think people need to be governed, right? I don't. I
Okay.
really don't believe we. I guess I'm like kind of libertarian on that. Like, I don't think we
Okay.
need to be governed. But while we're under the current system, the way I would structure immigration is I would say that everyone can be let in if they don't have a criminal record in their country of origin. But while they are in, we register them as a non-citizen. They have non-citizen ID, so we know who everybody is, right? We give them non citizen social security numbers. We know who they all are. And while they're in here working and living and not citizens, they pay like a 1% to 2% higher tax rate than citizens. This way, not only would there would no longer be criticism of them being like a quote unquote drain to society, but they would have an incentive
Right.
to gain their citizenship. They would have an incentive, and some of them probably wouldn't stay if it was open. They would come in, work for a little bit, leave. So I just think it right now we're making it so if somebody
So
does come in and commit crime,
okay.
we're never going to find who they are, right? We're
Okay.
never going to
So
know.
let me ask you this. So if you're a dude that's doing everything the right way, and somebody jumps the line and steals that from you, and it takes 5 years to get citizenship, and you're trying to do it the right way, what are you going to tell those people?
Well, under my system, they wouldn't be jumping the line anymore. They would all be doing
Okay.
it the right
Okay.
way,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Under this system, we wouldn't have employers now hiring under the table work because nobody would need to work for a lower price because they can legally work in the country. The only reason most undocumented immigrants take lower prices is because they can't work legally. So this will stop
Yeah, but they
employers
don't pay
from
taxes either.
well, they pay sales tax, which makes up a bulk
Well,
of
some do.
taxes.
Some do.
Well,
Some do. Some
if
do. Not in Texas.
well, yeah, if you're in a state that doesn't have sales tax, I guess, but the
Well, that's a
IRS,
border state.
hold on, I can pull you up the exact amount. The IRS told us exactly how much we made from the undocumented immigrants paid in taxes. Let me just pull it up real quick.
Sure. No, no. I appreciate. Like, I think you're being very fair.
Let me just pull this up for you. Um, and you can even file state and local tax as an undocumented worker
Okay.
if you're like protected, because some undocumented workers we know they're
Okay.
undocumented, we haven't shipped them back yet because they haven't it's a whole thing.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find the exact number. They have it. I'm just trying to
Well,
find it for you.
no, no. Look it up. I'll keep talking. So here's another one. Um, so do you think if I disagree with, let's say, Smortion, should I have to fund it?
Say that again.
If I disagree with Smortion, should I have to fund it?
I think all healthcare should be funded. But I can answer that very simply. And I just had the number for you. It's $11.6 billion of taxes get paid by undocumented immigrants every year.
Right.
So that's a lot of money that they're putting into the system.
But now, okay. So you're analytical, right? So look at my background. You can look it up in my LinkedIn, anything. So you're saying that's what happened, but how much are they draining on our system?
Well, but and so here's the thing: it's not a drain if they're putting in, right? Now,
Are you sure? Are you sure?
they can't get they can't use any social services, so I don't know how they'd be draining because they physically can't go on.
Well,
You can't apply for welfare,
literally, you can go to the
SNAP.
hospital. If you're in America, you can go to the hospital right now and you'll be taken care of no matter what.
Yeah, but you get a bill. No one's paying for that.
Yeah, but you don't have to pay for it. Like,
Well,
literally, you could just like disown that bill.
wait, are you saying that we shouldn't give these people medical care if they get injured?
I'm asking. That's a drain on the economy. I'm just making the
Well, no,
argument that it
it's
actually is a drain on the economy.
well,
It
I
is.
would argue it's not. But if we're looking, if we're like just to go into this a little bit, right? If they're putting in money, then it's not a drain because they're putting in, and I would argue they're probably putting in more than they're using since they can't use a bulk of like almost any social services. So they're probably putting in a lot more than actually is used. Now, when we get to your question about like healthcare, like should stuff be subsidized by the taxpayer, I would just ask, are you on employer healthcare or like do you have your own privatized
No,
third-party
no.
healthcare?
Yeah, I'm good on healthcare, but what I'm asking though, if I disagree with something and they're doing something wrong, why should I have to pay my tax dollars to go
Well,
against my beliefs?
I'm gonna answer that for you right now. So if you're on a current healthcare system and you are paying for privatized healthcare, you're already paying for people's abortions. Because the way privatized insurance works is you pay into a pot that other people can use. And every
Right.
insurance in America, unless you're in a state that now has it outlawed, prior to Roe v. Wade being overturned, every insurance in America covered abortions, right?
Okay.
So you are already paying for people's abortions
So does
under.
that make it right?
Does it make it right? I mean, if we want to get into should you be able to deny what you want to pay in taxes, maybe, but I think the issue we're going to run into is things like the military are going to end up becoming incredibly defunded. I don't think you can have it one way and not the other, right? So if there are
I'm the,
things you think should be funded via tax, I think we can't say that there's some that shouldn't.
how about nobody pay any tax? How about that?
I do believe that in our current system, you should have an option of removing your tax obligations. But I think that
Mhm.
if you do, you should not be allowed to engage in any of the things taxes pay
Right.
for. Right. So
Exactly.
if you want to opt out, you need to go move into the woods because you can't live in any
No,
municipalities. You need to
no,
go.
I can't call the police, the fire department. I'm cool with that.
Well, not just
I'm
them.
all
You
good,
can't
man.
use
Even
any.
the roads. Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
can't
know.
use
I'm with
roads. You
it.
can't use
Yeah,
you have to completely opt out. And if people want to do that and go fully off grid and live in the woods somewhere in a cabin where they grow their own
right.
food, and yeah,
Yeah,
I
what's wrong with that?
absolutely have no issues with people doing that. But
Right.
my issue is people that claim, well, we don't want taxes, but they want to utilize everything taxes provide.
Yeah, I say get rid of it all, man. It's all extortion.
People are saying no water. Yeah, you would have to have well water. You'd have to have your own water from a stream or something. But and electricity, you'd have to have your own form of electricity. So I think anything,
Well,
and that's even anything that the government subsidizes. So like gas, you can't use gas from
okay.
gas stations. You can't do any of that. But some people would do that. There are people that absolutely would move to the woods and be completely self sufficient if they could. And I think they should have the freedom to do that.
Okay, so let me ask you about this, and I'm just going to tell you up front because if I get emotional, please don't kick me or ban me or anything like that. My mama died of the V. Okay, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Um, what? So my issue is there's no proof. Like I'm not gonna claim you're lying, but I have no proof I have no
Okay,
proof of anything.
okay.
And
So I have
and
questions. Okay, so I have questions.
sure,
Just a few.
I'm only more knowledgeable on the mRNA. I'm not as knowledgeable on the live virus one. But if
Mhm.
you want to talk about the mRNA specifically, I know a lot about that one specifically.
Okay, so you know about the R drug, right? That was actually incentivized by the government for these hospitals, right? You
The
understand
what?
what I'm talking about? The R drug,
No, I don't know what the R drug is.
Resvesidir, I want to say.
What?
Yeah, I hope I don't. Yeah, I don't really didn't want to say that, but
I don't know what you're remdesivir.
yeah.
Okay, what about it?
Okay, so this was actually incentivized by the government, which actually, when you try to challenge them in court right now, they say you can't bring a case. You know why? Why would the government say you can't actually pursue people over 25 in Florida that's actually trying to defend your mama's, uh, why would that be banned if it's not a bad thing?
The only thing I can say is after immediately looking up about it, this is as of January 16th, there is a pending court case on that drug. This people are taking
Yeah,
that drug to
I
court.
I tried to go there and they said I have no case because I'm over 25. So
Well, I mean, again, I can only take your word. Like I have no,
oh, look it up,
but
look it up right now. Like I called. I mean, if you can find an attorney, he'll take my case. I'm happy to.
I don't know what
Let's
case.
roll.
I don't know what case you have. You said
No,
what?
it's no. Okay, so can I tell you my mama's story? Okay, so basically, What happened to my mom was I was power of attorney, and she was put on this drug, and then she went on a V, which we all know what that means, right? She had problems breathing, right? So, um, and I'm like, okay, and I talked to my mom about it, and she's like, yeah, I can't breathe. I need to go on this, and I'm like, okay, mom, whatever you feel you need to do to survive, that's cool, right? So, so she's on this V, and then here's what they did. They took her off and they didn't freaking call me or tell me they were taking her off. So what they did is after a month of saying, okay, well, you need to put her in hospice, right? They're saying you need to put her in hospice, but and every day I would come in to visit my mom and they would say, because this is later. This is it was October 2021 if you want to fact check me. But anyway, and where people were like, you were allowed to go in. So I'd visit my mom every day, and they're like, okay, she needs to be in hospice. Well, I'm a believer. I'm saying no. I believe in miracles. I don't want to do this. Well, they took her off of the V without contacting me. But you know what? I have no recourse because you know what? The government freaking put this restriction on over 25. You can't pursue anything C related. Now, tell me how that's not some crock of crap.
I mean, I've never heard of this, especially with the amount of lawsuits that are out right now with COVID. I've never heard of anybody not being able to sue for being over 25. And looking at it, I'm finding no information on it. So I think you might have been lied to by somebody.
Oh my gosh, dude. Literally, I lost my mom. Are you kidding me right now? Like, you really don't think I've done my research?
I'm just saying when I'm looking at like
Oh
I'm
my God,
I'm
dude.
researching it. I'm not finding a single thing about not being able
Okay.
to press legal actions if you're
Well,
over the age of
hey,
25.
you want to group? Hey, we could do a group. Hey, pick any attorney in Florida right now. Let's call him right now. You decide who you want to call. I'll be on the call, and let's do it. Let's talk to him. You want to do it?
Dude,
You think I?
I'm not saying you are wrong. I'm saying you might have been lied to by somebody because when
Okay.
I'm
Well, let's
looking this
call him.
up, I'm finding nothing.
Let's find.
I don't know
Let's
why
find
you're
the
getting
truth
so
then.
mad
Let
at me about
what?
this.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Well, it's my mom. Number one.
I
I get a little
understand, but I
emotional.
told you I'm gonna be respectful
Well,
on
let's
this.
let's do a third party call. Let's do it.
Well,
Pick
hey,
any attorney you want in Florida, and I'll talk to him. I'll be the voice. You pick any attorney you want, and I guarantee you nobody will freaking take my case. You pick the one. And if
well,
they take it, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a kickback.
I don't
if they take my case,
wait. I don't need a kickback, right? What all I'm trying to
but
say
no,
here.
but I'm telling you truths, bro, and you're saying I'm not telling you the truth when I know for a fact that it's true.
I didn't say you weren't telling me the truth. You might have been told that. I never said that you weren't.
Okay,
I'm
well,
saying
you
can
pick
you
the
not
attorney.
recognize that there's a chance that someone might have lied to you if they didn't want to just take the case?
Okay, well, okay, so okay, if i- okay, so if I'm wrong, I will pay you $10,000 if
I
you get
don't
somebody that wins a law case, and we'll call them right now. You pick the attorney. I'm not even picking the attorney. Anyone in Florida, Daytona Beach area, I literally will pay you $10,000 if I can justify my mom's death and take care of these people that freaking.
Dude, I don't
So
need any of your money. I'm not saying that you're
it's not
wrong. I'm
about
not
that,
saying that you
but
shouldn't have the
okay.
ability to sue if you feel like you were wronged. But if people if there's not a law on the books that says that you can't sue them if you're over the age of 25, I don't know what you want me to tell you if I'm looking for that
I
and can't
know, but
find it.
why? No, but why is that law there if it's so just and so,
I'm saying
walking the
I
line?
can't find this law anywhere. That's what I'm telling
It's
you.
okay. It's okay. It's okay, man. Hey, I'm just telling you, man. If you want to do it, man, I'm definitely. I'll pay you 10 grand right now if you get somebody to take my case
I have
and actually
I
win.
don't need your money. I have no I don't need your money. I'm sorry that you're going through this, but it's I don't know what you want me to tell you. If there is
No,
a
I'm just
law and you
speaking
can
truth. I'm speaking truth, bro. That's all I'm trying to do.
bro, you have to recognize that when I'm talking to people randomly on TikTok, they can say anything. I'm not again not saying you're lying, but I've talked to people on here who tell me that they see ghosts. I don't believe them.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
Now
I'm
if you
I'm
can
letting I'm letting you call any attorney you want in Florida right now. Anybody. And if you think I'm lying, I will kiss your ass,
I've
bro. I'm
never.
telling you.
I don't know how many times I have to say I don't think you're lying.
Well,
I
you
don't.
just like compared me to like people talking to ghosts,
No,
like for
I'm
real.
just saying that someone providing me with only evidence from their lives isn't enough for me to go on. So when I look up Florida and I look up can you sue for COVID related deaths after 25 and there is nothing saying you can't.
Right, right.
If there's
Well,
nothing telling me you
actually,
can't,
yeah.
what do you want me to do?
Okay, okay, okay. Well, all your listeners, if you can get one person to take this lawsuit, and I will talk, I will do all the talking, and if you can find one person that will take this lawsuit, I will give them 10 grand if they can actually, if I can pursue this. Literally right now, I will freaking literally, I promise you, I'm not full of shit, bro.
I, okay, if you want to put your money on the line for it, I
Yeah, yeah, 10 grand right now. 10
that's
grand.
absolutely your right as an American to do so.
No, yeah, let's
I,
go.
I I'm not arguing that you shouldn't be able to sue. I think anybody should be able to sue for anything. It's just if they think you'll win the case or not.
Right, exactly. But why wouldn't I, man? Hey, I love you. I'm getting a little heated, and this is nothing about you. I'm leaving just because of my own mental health. I love you guys, and you've been very fair. I just want to make that, and I'm going to follow you. You've been very fair and very kind, and love you guys, and hope you all have a blessed day.
All right, you too.